Brian Scalabrine covers the Celtics for NBC Sports Boston. Also works for Yahoo Sports and NBA Radio on Sirius XM. And Brian's set to join us now. Brian, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
Wait, who's calling you?
Nah, I thought I was waiting for a call from you, so usually I silence my phone, but it came on the home number instead. But no, I'm all set. I'm good.
If I told you back in November that Boston would be here now in the second round against the 76ers, what would you have said?
Wow, I think that I thought that Boston would be in the second round. Philadelphia, I thought this would be a learning curve for them, and it was probably it was like it was headed that way until they grabbed Ilyasova and Bellinelli, added the shooting to the lineup. I was a huge fan of Ben Simmons from the very first preseason game I watched him play. Thought he was dynamic, loved the way that he could finish around the basket, left hand, right hand. Loved the fact that he could see over the defense, and he was a big-time passer. So I could see that happening. I just didn't think the rest of those guys were going to be good enough. Guys I missed out on, Saric, he's much better than I thought. And then no way could I have predicted the additions of grabbing, some premium shooters in the league and really of giving up nothing to get them. I thought Fultz would be a little bit better than he is, but Philadelphia has definitely fast-forwarded the track of the rebuilding process in pretty much one season.
How do you explain Boston roughing up Philly last night?
Oh, man, there's no explanation for it. When it comes to the Celtics and Brad Stevens, you think you could say after a grueling 7-game series and you sort of watch – the Houston-Utah series, and Utah looked flat, like they had no gas, and you're like, man, how are these guys going to pull this off? You got Philadelphia, who is playing at an all-time level. Like they're the hottest team in the NBA. Their offense in the second half has been tremendous in the playoffs. There's no explanation for the way that these guys could come in and win Game 1 so handily like they did. But this whole season, I've said it with this team, I've been completely surprised when you count them out, they somehow find a way. Gordon Hayward goes down, you think, man, the season's over. Kyrie's having the surgery, he's out for the playoffs, like, oh, man, let's try to get out of the first round. So with these guys, they find a different way. I think at the end of the day, the coaching staff for the Celtics, including Brad Stevens and Danny Ainge, are on the same page, and that's why they're getting what you're getting out of Jason Tatum, a rookie, or a guy like Terry Rozier in Game 7 and Game 1.
But you're also getting guys to get minutes sooner than we thought because of the injury to Gordon Hayward, and now with Kyrie out. And I think it's benefited this team that you had guys who got more minutes and got more shots in big-time moments than you probably thought they were going to get this season, and it's paying off now. At least it has so far in the playoffs. Yeah,
no question about it. If you had a pen and paper and you want to write down, first option all the way down, like Rozier and Tatum, 6th, 7th option when the start of this season happened, and now they're like the go-to guys. So experience definitely helps. Now, if you project forward and you look at the Celtics, and who's to say? Like, I don't know how this thing is going to unfold in Toronto and Cleveland, but who's to say that they can't continue to make this run without Kyrie, without Gordon Hayward. But I really think when you just start, take one step back, and when this season's over, whenever that does happen, the Celtics got to be the legitimate top favorite in the Eastern Conference to go to the finals because of all the experience. Now, you can never predict injuries or anything like that, but, man, this team is absolutely loaded with the development of the Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Terry Rozier on this team.
Brian Scalabrine covers the Celtics for NBC Sports Boston, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Who gave you the nickname White Mamba?
Stacey King. Yeah, it was Kobe came out with his jump over the car commercial. It was great, like the Black Mamba campaign. And, I've always worn Kobe shoes because they're I think they're the best shoes that Nike's ever made. And so I made a pair. This whole thing, they were like the opposite. Like whatever Kobe did, I did the opposite. His were black, mine were white. It was like the whole nine. I slapped them down on the table on the team plane, and I said, "These are the White Mamba 1.0s." And then from there, Stacey King announced it, and there was like T-shirts outside of the United Center like within a week, and it was the White Mamba craze took off, but it's mostly because of Stacey King.
Did you ever talk to Kobe about this?
Yeah. It's not long conversations, but he does respect the parody on his name. But I'm not one of these guys who's going to the white Mamba, it has a completely different mindset than the black Mamba. We're definitely from the same Mamba family, and we definitely like taking big fourth quarter shots with the crowd on their feet. I just happen to be up by 20 at the time when it's happening, and Kobe is usually in a 1-point ball game.
What's the best performance you ever witnessed, either a teammate or playing against somebody?
I think it was Paul Pierce's 46 and a half in overtime when I think I was a rookie and I went in. I was not on his team. I was on the New Jersey Nets, and it was Paul Pierce this and Paul Pierce that. And he came out. He was like 1 for 8 at halftime. He had 2 points. And I said, like, what's all this hoopla about Paul Pierce? I mean, what is this? And he goes off 46. He basically fouls out everybody on our team. And I'm like looking at the depth chart thinking, oh, man, if one more guy goes out, I'm going to have to deal with this right now. And I don't think I want those problems. So I think that, it opened my mind up. Like, before, how did Will score 100 in a game? Like, the idea that Paul scored 46 and a half in overtime, I kind of, changed my whole perspective of saying, man, maybe that is really possible. But it was a tremendous performance. Nowadays, it's very different with the three-point shot. I mean, Paul did it, but he did it almost the hard way. We made a couple threes along the way, but a lot of mid-post, a lot of going to the basket. I think it was 18 free throws along the way. So very, very different type of performance than what we see nowadays from a Steph Curry, but impressive as when you watch it.
Who is most likely to have a chance to go after Kobe's 81?
Oh, in today's game? I think the game is so different now. Besides the Cavs and LeBron, you don't see as much isolation basketball as you've seen in the past. The idea in the 2000s was give the ball to your best player, let them make plays. And if they're having a nice night, you keep milking that and everyone kind of stands around. It's almost very similar to the way the Cavs play now. But the new age basketball is going to be motion offense and, cuts and back screens and stuff like that. So maybe I could throw in maybe Westbrook in that category because they run a lot of heavy isolation, a lot of high pick and rolls.
James Harden.
So, yeah, Harden would be another one. But even Houston spreads the ball out. Harden is a tremendous passer. So maybe guys like that. But, I think that we will start seeing even more of a shift, Dan. The biggest problem I've made as an analyst over the last 5 years is not understanding how fast the game is changing from what it was. I get it, from 80s, 90s, 2000s to what it's becoming, and we see stretch fives and the center shooting three-pointer. It's happening, and it's happening really fast. And if you're not on board with that, you're going to get a lot of players wrong along the way.
Reggie Miller was on yesterday, and we started talking about Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler, Klay Thompson. We were actually started talking about Klay Thompson because he probably has the best looking jump shot in the NBA. And then we were wondering, how did he slip to, I think, 13th in the draft or 11th, wherever it was? And then I said to Reggie Miller about redrafting that draft. So here's the question to Reggie Miller and his answer, and then I'll get your response. If we redraft, I got Kawhi.
Kyrie will always be one.
Okay.
Out of this.
All right.
That. Kyrie is always one.
And then Kawhi?
Here I'm going Kyrie, Jimmy Butler.
Wow.
Klay.
Wow.
Kawhi.
Whoa.
Just for the simple fact, I need to know where Kawhi's head is.
What do you think?
That's a little bit of an overreaction, don't you think?
Yes, I do.
Okay, because I'm not on the media I'm going to stand up for Kawhi Leonard. Don't get me wrong, Dan. I think what he did this year was inexcusable. Be around your team. Once you know you're not coming back and you're not playing, what's the point of being in New York doing all the rehab there? Just hey, man, you can go to Hawaii for a month, do no rehab, and start this process all over again. Your body will heal. So I think he should have been with his team. The idea that Tony Parker and Ginobili called him out, or Pop, sort of the way that he kind of called him out, I think that Kawhi was in the wrong, but I'm not going to say Kawhi Leonard. I'm not going to overreact and say that Kawhi Leonard is not the best player in that draft. The guy's unbelievable two-way player.
Okay, so you would take Kawhi 1, and then who's 2?
Yeah, probably Kyrie, or just the names that they mentioned. But I don't know in the draft off the top of my head.
Well, no, you have Kyrie, you have Klay Thompson, Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, so I would probably put Klay ahead of Jimmy Butler, but it's all situational. Klay is a great second and third option. And that's I'm not saying that with disrespect to a guy who's not a number one. Sometimes it's more important to have those second-tier guys like Clay that are two-way players that just make shots for you. But Jimmy Butler, yeah, I mean, I'd probably be fourth. So I would go Kawhi, Kyrie, Clay, and then Jimmy.
How surprised would you be that Houston comes out of the West as opposed to Golden State?
Yeah, I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked.
Why?
Yeah, I just Dan, I always say it like this. I like the media loves the new sexy pick, right? But if Kevin Durant was on Toronto, Boston, even maybe Milwaukee, Philly, that team would be a surefire trip to the NBA Finals. No question about it. If Kevin Durant was on Houston, that would be a surefire. But why, when they put him on the Golden State Warriors, who happen to be unbelievable already, how come it's not like a shoe-in to go to the NBA Final? It's like people searching for to be the first one to pick something different. I like Houston. I think they're good. I think the Warriors, when they are locked in, they're on a level that the rest of the NBA cannot touch. And it really has – I think it all has to do with Kevin Durant. He is an anomaly out there. He's off the ball. He cuts. He passes. He can shoot. You can give him the ball. He can make plays. All the attention. I love Steph Curry. I think he's phenomenal. But Kevin Durant is a matchup nightmare. And defensively, he brings it, and he can test shots at the rim. There's really nothing you can do with his versatility. I just think there's no answer for him. If they didn't have him, if they go to the finals and they don't have him, and LeBron somehow gets there, LeBron becomes the favorite in the finals if the Warriors don't have Kevin Durant. That's how important Kevin Durant is. If you're a coach and you're preparing for him, good luck with that.
Who's more unstoppable, Durant or Harden?
As a one-on-one player,
yeah.
Harden. As a team guy, in the Warriors system, it's Durant. Durant's off-the-ball movement is incredible. His back cutting is incredible. His ability to pass and shoot off the bounce is incredible. But Harden is – I know this is going to probably cause controversy here, but Harden to me is the greatest one-on-one player we have ever seen. A guy who can shoot off the dribble like that is insane.
Wait. Hold on. Say that again, just so we'll be recording on Brian Scalabrine here.
Yep, rolling.
Seton, 3, 2, 1.
James Harden is the best one-on-one player I have ever seen because of his ability to shoot the three off the dribble. A lot of credit to Kobe and Michael for what they did in the mid-block area or their isolation, but just the simple fact that you have to guard him up the floor, he's an impossible cover. It's insane that he's ahead of the NBA. The way everybody in the NBA is playing the same game, and he is head and shoulders above him on the offensive end.
You got to warn us before you dropping hot takes on us there, Mamba.
Is that really a hot take anymore?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel Stephen A. did that 2 months ago, and I don't think it is a hot take. No, Daryl Morey did it, and then Stephen A. kind of countered him. I don't know. You just look at one-on-one when you watch him play. How he does what he does is mind-boggling.
Well, it's called traveling.
What about the off-the-dribble three stuff? If you took NBA players and you said, shoot the James Harden step-back three against zero defenders, I don't know how many guys. Besides, there's a few guys, Damian Lillard, Steph Curry. I'm probably missing a few that could really make that shot. But James Harden does it consistently. He to be inside the three and step back behind the three and shoot the three at that level right over a guy, it's insane. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. And guys, when they're guarding him, they're at his mercy.
Well, you tried to guard LeBron, right? You know what that feeling's like. LeBron's unstoppable, isn't he?
He's like a different type of unstoppable, right? He just goes to the basket and he bowls you over. But are you really afraid of him shooting the three off the dribble like that? Let's say if LeBron shot like James Harden, there would be no question.
Oh, yeah.
We're lucky that it's LeBron takes a few shots, on his own, just jacks up some threes, and some nights he doesn't have it, and some nights he does. So, yeah, LeBron is great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to sit here and say he's not. I just have never seen anything like what James Harden is able to do. And then his ability to finish at the basket adds to the fact that he can pass when he finally gets there and throws those lobs. I don't understand why we don't do more backflips over James Harden this year. When Russell Westbrook averages a triple-double, LeBron James, we talk about how, oh, my God, this guy's so great, he needs no rest. But, man, what about James Harden? Can we give him some credit for what he's done? He does things that we have never seen before.
Well, he's going to be the MVP, so he's going to get love. Are you saying, is Harden the best player on the planet?
No, he's like the best offensive player on the planet.
Okay.
Yeah.
The best player on the planet is who?
I guess you'd have to say LeBron. I guess. I think it's Kevin Durant, but a lot of people think it's LeBron James, so I just go with the general take that everyone thinks he's the best player on the planet. I don't know. Their offensive rating is not great sometimes. Their defensive rating. Kevin Durant seems like a beast. But if Kevin Durant was in LeBron's situation, I think we probably – I mean, it would be tough for anybody to have success in that with Cleveland right now.
Would the Cavs be better with Kevin Durant? Is that what you're hinting? Okay.
All right. Unless like they played completely different. Like the way that the Cavs play, that isolation with LeBron, I don't like the system. I don't like the way that they play. But maybe there's no other way to do it when you have LeBron James on your team. But I think Kevin Durant's more of a matchup nightmare. I think James Harden, in a way, is probably more of a matchup nightmare than LeBron just going at the top of the key isolation. So, how
about LeBron if he played with Golden State?
I don't know if it would work as well. I mean, it would be very different. I love the fact that KD can score in all the different ways: on the ball, off the ball, cutting, shooting, off pick and roll. Like that, I love that about. He's like exactly what they need when the motion offense isn't working. So I don't know if LeBron was on that team, if it would be as dominant as it is. I guess you would probably assume that he would have the ball in his hands and you would just spot up Steph Curry and you spot up.
Oh, he'd be driving and dishing. He'd average 15 assists.
Are you sure?
Oh my goodness. He would power guys off the dribble, go to the hoop, and dish out to Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson would have to take a dribble the entire season. Steph Curry there, even Draymond Green.
So you think that they would be better with LeBron than Kevin Durant?
They would be different, but I think eventually they would be better. Like I love Durant, and he's starting to prove he can be a two-way player, and his defense is underrated. But, LeBron's passing in a pass-happy offense like that, I can't imagine that he wouldn't make them better. Because Durant is just adds to what they already have. LeBron gives you something different. He can post up, he can drive and dish. So I think that.
But maybe adding to what they already have is exactly what they need, and maybe reinventing the wheel is not what makes the Golden State Warriors go. Let's say that all they did was stand around and wait for LeBron to drive and kick to them. Maybe they wouldn't be as effective. The idea of being a willing passer off the ball, not necessarily a willing passer to get assists, but just to move it. Like that's important too.
Right.
I think that. And what about the fact that when guys drive, they don't have to respect LeBron's jumper as much as they have to respect Kevin Durant.
But they have to respect the drive more than they do Durant's drive.
Sure, but then would you say that? All right, going with your theory, then if Ben Simmons was on the Warriors doing the same thing that LeBron would be doing, would you say that Ben Simmons would be better than Durant?
No.
A guy who can just get downhill anytime he wants.
You don't respect his shot at all. Look at LeBron's numbers from three. I mean, he's got a respectable jumper from three, mid-range jumper. Yeah, Ben Simmons, you're not respecting the jumper, so it's completely different. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but you're definitely not respecting LeBron's jumper like you are KD's.
Well, no, KD's got one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
We've had enough hot takes here, Brian, all right?
Yeah, all you did, machine gun of hot takes over here. Jeez.
Yeah, that's what we do here. Brian,
Who you, without overreacting, because I always want to know your stance. And by the way, I love the show. I actually watch your show on subtitles while I'm working out.
Wait, you don't have to apologize for watching the show. That's what it sounded like.
No, I'm not watching it live, sitting there watching TV. I'm doing it during my workout.
Okay.
But with that being said, without overreacting, What do you got in the Philly-Boston series?
I still like
What do you
Philly.
have in the Cavs-Toronto series?
I'm still going to take Cleveland begrudgingly because I just don't know if Toronto knows how to beat LeBron, and they got to prove they can. This series says as much about Toronto as it does Cleveland, because if Toronto does not beat Cleveland, then I think you got to start looking at dismantling that. And Cleveland, if they happen to lose, then I think, LeBron says, see you. So I think it says a whole lot about both teams there, but I'm going to go begrudgingly Cleveland, and I like the 76ers still. I think that the Celtics are doing it with momentum and the sum of the parts there, but I do think the overall talent of Philadelphia will win out here.
Gotcha. Get me back on air after Toronto beats the Cavs, please.
Oh, all right.
Just tell Todd when Toronto beats the Cavs. Just tell Todd to text me, and we'll get back on air. I like to know why. When they do lose, I like to know your take on LeBron and the Cavs and what's going to happen.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. That's Brian Scalabrine. He's the White Mamba.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.